Do you believe in the Kardashian curse?
I think it exists. Without the situation in play, I'm worth 60, 70, easily. You know, you gotta blame somebody, and why not blame Chloe?
But yeah,
What? They must be cursed. There's no other explanation, man. Let's see what
I
Cosgrove's
recently
talking
did a
about.
two-part series of some of the most unlucky players of all time. So this is kind of a continuation of that.
Okay,
except
alright, we're gonna
let's
check it
call
out. We're gonna check
something
it
a
out.
little bit different. Here are a few NBA curses. And if you haven't already, make sure to also watch this NBA curses video I previously made almost 2 years ago
Okay.
after this one. Without further ado,
I got you,
let's
man. We're
get
gonna
into
check it out. We're gonna check it out, man. Hey, Cosgrove, you know you be coming with the NBA conspiracy heat, man. You know I gotta check those out. Especially if y'all want it, bro. Let me know down in the comments if y'all want it, bro. You know I got you. Don't you worry one bit. Let's see what Cosgrove's talking about in this video, though.
Let's talk about the 2022 Phoenix Suns. Now, this particular Suns team has multiple curses within them. First, of course, we got Chris Paul. You knew this was coming. As I'm sure you've all heard, after the Dallas Mavericks destroyed the Suns in Game 7, Paul became the first player ever to blow a total of 5-2-0 leads in the playoffs.
Yo!
Also, we can't forget about the time he and the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead to the Rockets in 2015.
I remember that.
And a 3-2 lead to Golden State in 2018 when he was a member of the Rockets. Paul wasn't able to play the final 2 games of that Golden State series because he happened to injure his hamstring at the end of Game 5. The timing couldn't have been any worse. If you didn't know already, Devin Booker is currently dating Kendall Jenner. And who does she just so happen to be related to? The Kardashians. As you all probably know, every time an NBA player decides to get in a romantic relationship with either a Jenner or Kardashian, their life subsequently begins to go downhill.
I have heard
the
that.
main examples to back this up are Lamar Odom, whose career was going great when he first met Chloe back in 2009, but their marriage would soon fall apart, along with his career. And let's not forget when he was found unconscious back in 2015 and was in a coma for 4 days. James Harden, who Chloe started hanging out with in 2015. But things wouldn't last very long, as Harden had this to say: "That was the worst year of my life." Tristan Thompson would soon replace Harden in 2016, and all it did was lead to Chloe getting blamed every time the Cavs lost in the finals. Reportedly, LeBron was extremely worried when his teammates started dating her. Some others who fell victim to the Kardashian curse were Chris Humphries, who ended up being portrayed as a villain by the time he and Kim's marriage was over, and Rashad McCants, who blames Chloe for his failed career and claims that he lost out on millions of dollars because of her.
Do you believe in the Kardashian curse?
I have this conversation a lot. I think it exists. Without the situation in play, I'm worth 60, 70, easily. You know, you gotta blame somebody, and why not blame Chloe?
But yeah,
What? Man,
this
come
day,
on, bro.
it
Time out.
looks like
I'm gonna pause it right there real quick. Come on, bro. You gotta be a man, though. Listen, it might be a Kardashian curse, but you gotta be a man. He talking about, oh, if I gotta blame somebody, why not blame her? You're a grown man, boy. But take responsibilities for your own actions, bro. Come on, now. I'm just saying, but let's back to the video.
NBA players are not willing to learn from the others' mistakes. And another curse that some people believe didn't help the Suns at all is the Landry Shamet curse. Basically, if Shamet is on your team, you will lose in 7 games in the second round. I know, sounds crazy, right? But just take a look at his track record. He was on that Clippers team who blew a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets in the bubble. He was a member of the Nets when they lost to the Bucks in 7 games last year. And would you look at that? He is currently a member of this Suns team who just suffered an embarrassing Game 7 loss to the Bucks. And for what it's worth, he was technically on that Sixers team who lost due to Kawhi's series-clinching buzzer beater of none other than the second round back in 2019. Although they did trade him before the playoffs, so he wasn't technically on the team at that very moment, but nonetheless, he was on that team long enough that year for his curse to affect them. Jordan. He's only been in the league since 2018 and has essentially cursed every team he's been on. You could look at this in two ways. You could either say he is the one who was cursed, you know, like the victim, or you could say that he himself is the curse, if that makes sense. So for the 2022 Phoenix Suns, it's hard to even overcome one curse, let alone three.
Sheesh.
Up next,
I ain't
we
even
got
know
the
that.
Michael Jordan curse. Now
Michael
you
Jordan
may be
curse?
thinking, how could there be a Michael Jordan curse? I mean, he had like the best career you could ever ask for.
Facts.
Well, he's not cursed per se. I'm talking about players who were labeled the next Jordan back when they were up and coming.
We'd like to find another player who makes us feel that good about basketball. We'd like to find another player who makes us feel that good about sport. Now, I think we always look for the next Michael Jordan because we so desperately want there to be another Michael Jordan.
But it's no secret that the majority of players who got handed that kind of pressure to become the next Jordan failed to do so.
That is
Harold
true.
Miner was dubbed Baby Jordan, mostly
Ooh.
because people thought that he could dunk like Mike. But the comparisons pretty much stopped there. Everyone had extremely high hopes for Miner, but the pressure was something that he just couldn't handle.
Who is this guy?
Ronnie Fields was a high school star in Chicago, but never even made it to the league. Unfortunately, just before his 19th birthday, he was involved in a car accident and was never the same as a result.
Whoa.
Vince Carter and Grant Hill's careers were all altered by injuries. Hill even said that he didn't like the fact that he was compared to Jordan because he believed that it was unfair. Michael Finley, mainly because he was
Oh.
from Chicago. Jerry Stackhouse, who had the North Carolina connection just like Vince did. Ray Allen, because I guess
Ray
he was in
Allen?
a movie like Michael was. Iverson, D. Wade, T-Mac, the list goes on. Now, what do they all have in common? They were never able to live up to the Jordan level expectations.
Nowhere close.
Yes, even Kobe, who came closer than anyone, had to hear straight from the horse's mouth that he would never be able to fill his shoes. And for the most part, he was right. LeBron has come pretty damn close too, but even Shannon Sharp, who just might be LeBron's biggest supporter, had to face reality.
No American athlete will ever surpass Michael Jordan as far as fame, as far as stature. Michael Jordan is the beacon of light that everybody else will get compared to.
Which is why LeBron
Shannon
is the phony
said that?
GOAT.
I mean, we already know LeBron the GOAT.
The
But
phony GOAT.
he the GOAT, but he can't catch Jordan. But that's okay.
I hate to go, but he can't catch Jordan,
Although
Shannon.
it's definitely a compliment to be compared to Jordan, it looks like it's also somewhat of a curse.
That is tough. I ain't gonna lie, you onto something.
It's unfortunate that we as a society kept putting that label on people and wanted to see who was going to fill that void. And it took sort of a decade of us finally realizing, okay, no one's going to do it. Let's forget about it. Let's let the next great individual come along and be himself.
When teams go head-to-head in the playoffs, of course, the main objective is to eliminate the other team to advance to the next round.
course.
But what if I told you that there was a period of time where if you were matched up against the San Antonio Spurs, you might as well have not even tried. Because if you were to beat them, you were just gonna inevitably lose in the next round anyways. No, seriously,
What?
dating all the way back to the
That
year
niggas are going
2008,
crazy.
we saw a very weird trend take place. Here, let me show you what I mean. In 2008, the Lakers eliminated the Spurs in the conference finals. Then, the Lakers went on to lose to the Celtics in the NBA finals. In
Okay.
2009, the Mavs beat the Spurs in the first round. Then, Dallas lost to the Nuggets after that. In 2010,
Alright.
San Antonio got swept by the Suns in the semifinals. Then, the Suns fell short against the Lakers in the conference finals. In 2011, the 8th-seeded Grizzlies beat the number 1 seed Spurs in the first round, then lost to OKC in the second round. In 2012, the Thunder beat the Spurs in the conference finals, then lost in the NBA finals to Miami. In 2013,
Yo, it goes
Miami would
on?
win the title against the Spurs, so there was no next round. However, they did go on to lose just a year later in the 2014 NBA finals to none other than the Spurs.
Yo!
2015, Chris Paul sent the Spurs home in Game 7 of the first round, but would go on to blow a 3-1 lead against the Rockets. 2016, the Thunder eliminated San Antonio in the second round, but would also go on to blow a 3-1 lead versus Golden State.
Yo, this is still going.
So the Warriors knocked off the Spurs 2 years in a row in 2017 and in 2018, then eventually went on to win it all both times. But come on, no one even stood a chance to beat that all-time great team. I mean, yeah, who knows what would have happened had Kawhi Leonard not gotten hurt in Game 1 of the 2017 Western
that's
Conference
tough.
Finals.
That is true.
But that's besides the point. And lastly, in 2019,
it's still
Denver
going?
survived Game 7 in the first round against the Spurs, but couldn't get the job done in their very next Game 7 against Portland. Man, so what was it about knocking off the Spurs during like a 10-year span that caused you to go on to lose the very next series?
That's what I'm saying.
You could look at this as just one big annual coincidence or a curse.
Yo, that's crazy. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Hey, man. Let me know what was y'all favorite curse down in the comments, man. Hope y'all boys enjoyed this video if you watch this right now. Appreciate you. See you in the next video, bro. Bye.